So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Laura, together with a team of a multi-skill team of 9. I'm in charge of the communication department of La Monnaie, the Royal Opera House of Belgium in Brussels, and we work together with BASE as our external communication partner.
I'm Thierry. I'm from BASE Design. We are doing branding and a lot for actually cultural institution. We have 3 studios, one in New York, one in Brussels, and one in Geneva. And so we have a pretty long experience with cultural institution. We work with La Monnaie Opera here. We did the branding of Beaux-Arts here 12 years ago, the changing of the name and the whole branding. Working in Paris with Fondation Cartier, Fondation Louis Vuitton, Réunion des Musées Nationaux, and in New York also for MoMA on several projects, but mainly the move several years ago in Queens. When we were called by La Monnaie, actually, we've been working with cultural, communication departments in a lot of institutions, as I just explained. And there is something that struck me each time. It's 3 paradoxes. The first one is the fact that the director always is saying, communication is so important. It's the most important thing in our institution. Yet, the communication department has no power. So that is very strange, and I don't understand that. That's the first paradox. The second paradox is the communication department has no power, and other people are deciding for them. Artists are saying, this is the image I want, or curator is saying, this is the title it needs to be. Yes, it's 3 lines, it has to be in 3 languages, and it has to be on the poster. And everybody has to say, yes, of course, I agree. That doesn't make any sense. And the third thing is, very often the communication department is buying solutions outside to companies like mine, which is great for us, but at the same time, why aren't they able to produce and create their own solutions? So in this case, when we met again with Laure, we was like, okay, actually, my objective was like, how can I help these people to work without me and without us? How can we help these people that were kind of like in a pretty low state of energy to go back to their director, to the board, and just be stronger and prouder and just in full strength and autonomy? So it was a shared objective with Laure and the communication department that maybe you can explain a bit more.
Yes, indeed. So when we contacted BASE, we felt principally two needs. The first one was that we wanted to come back to an efficient use of our resources and our communication tools. We felt that in the ever-changing world of the communication, we weren't prepared, nor in strategy, nor in composition competences in the team, to work and communicate differently. So that was the first point. And secondly, we wanted to reaffirm the communication department in the house. So we started talking with BASE, and we find out that we were both convinced that we had the human potential was there at BASE and at La Monnaie, and so we really wanted to reinforce everyone individually and to valorize our teams.
So it's really we're talking about participation outside, about the public, about the audiences, but maybe participation should start inside, with everyone participating in the communication. So actually, if you check what are the usual way to do it, is to start with the what. What are we doing this season? How the poster will look like? How will we manage this campaign on social media? And then we think about how we're going to do that, which processes, and who is going to do it. This is the usual process that I encounter in a lot of institutions every day. They call us and they call BASE to do this and to solve this, and most of the time with not a lot of time, and we have full power and full authority to do that. So actually what we did here is actually to reverse that process, and instead of solving immediately the visuals, the concept, the campaigns, we start with the who and start with how to empower these people internally at La Monnaie. So it basically reverse the process and give a why to each one of them inside to know why we're doing this, where are we going with this work and with this process. And we knew it's going to take time. We knew it will not be done in 2 months. Actually, it took us a year and a half. So we took 6 steps to do that. The first one was great, was to criticize everything. So we put everything on the table, put everything on the wall, and we said, all together with the Monnaie team and base team, we said, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? So we critique everything, and we put that on paper. For example, they could not evaluate if this was working or not. They were all the time saying, we love this. Does it work? We don't know. Oh, but Peter, the director, loved this. Does it work? We don't know. So it was like the kind of thing that we could see in that workshop. For example, being a subscriber, normally you are VIP at La Monnaie. We couldn't find any clue that there's any advantages to be an abonné, and so on and so on. So we could together dig out the things that were working, the things that they were not working, and we put them on paper. That thing was pretty interesting, for example, and that happened a lot in communication department. They do stuff repeatedly each year. They do the same thing each year. So we were asking, why are you doing this? And a lot of the response was like, because we always do that this way. That was the answer. So we criticize everything, and we come up with a document compiling all this information. The second step what we took was to personalize our objectives. So this came from our digital team. We all know here probably the use of personas in digital communication. How are we talking to? So basically we did this exercise of targeting certain audiences and asking what do they want, what do we want from them, what are the problems potentially with them, and what are the keywords for the messages. So for example, here we had 6 personas: the subscribers, young people, cultural lovers, first-time goers, businesses. And for each one of them, we defined what they want, what do we want from them, what are the problems, and then the keywords that would help us to create for each one of these target groups. So it was pretty easy, it gives us immediately ideas, like for example, for the young people, the main problem is price. So we don't address a subscriber the same way as you address a young guy. For an abonné, for example, they want to feel, they needed a VIP feeling. They didn't at the moment, so we had to address that immediately. Step number 3, clarify. We had that line. For all of the people, opera is not accessible. And actually, we just switch a sentence to, it's not inaccessible, it's just exceptional. That's it. So, and from there, we had this strategy in 3 words. Objectivize everything. So now it's not only I like it or I don't like it. I objectivize every decision we're making. Everything has to feel one-to-one communication with the opera. Therefore, it's not the institution that is talking, it's people that are talking. And finally, we had to talk real time. All these 3 concepts were new for the opera. We put that in a very simple checklist. The checklist looks like this, 3 points. And it sounds stupid, but when you want to have people align on an objective, the more simple it has to be. So here we told and we decide together, everything you do from now has to check these 3 boxes. And this is something now I think the team of La Monnaie has just next to the computer, these 3 points. Everything we do I check these 3 boxes? Point number 5, just start now. So it was really simple. We agreed, we started the next day. Don't wait about discussion, just start and check if it works or not. So we had this very simple, again, draft. What will we continue to do? What will we stop to do? And what will we start to do? And we did a list for each one to follow. 6, last but not least, go to the board of La Monnaie and explain what was the project. This is not the exact picture of the board of La Monnaie. And basically explain what we were doing. And we're just explaining that. And pretty easily, we got the buy-in of the whole board. They were all like, sure, do it. So we got leadership on this project. They could not do that. We could.
So it was a bit hard to hear in the beginning, but we got over it. Now we're working on it. So after the reflections that were more in group, the workshops, the whole team participated. We get to a smaller level. So in fact, we created smaller teams, expertise-based. So we put together an expert from BASE with an expert from La Monnaie. For example, the copywriter from La Monnaie with the copywriter from BASE. And the duos work together around very specific and concrete topics. Because the aim was really for each subject to have a concrete checklist that we could use day to day. So in the first phase, we worked together more on topics that concerned the reaffirmation of the corporate house style, the corporate style. So it was iconography, tone of voice, graphic design. In the next phase, we worked together. The next phase, after the smaller groups, was the seasonal campaign that's released right now, and it's in the streets at this moment. So the way of working was always quite the same. So for the seasonal campaign, we were together. We put together the experts who talked about the concept, the iconography, the slogan, the copywriters, and then there's that's the campaign that's in the streets right now for the launch of the next season that starts in September.
And was great because the group that worked on that campaign, for the first time they said, this is our campaign. We did it. So it totally changed the way they felt about what La Monnaie was producing and what La Monnaie was putting in the streets, on social media, and in the conversations. This was done with Thorsten Brinkmann, the artist.
And there's still, in line of the project we developed, there's still a new project that will be launched in September that we're very excited about. And I cannot tell more at this moment, but it's also the result of the reflection we did together with BASE concerning the reorientation of the communication strategy and more specific use of the tools. For example, to stop mass production, but to really look and define what do we produce, print or digital, for who and how will it be used. So it's a project we are excited about, and in September there will be more to come.
And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be the first time in the opera world, right?
I hope so. So now we're approximately one year later, 1.5 years, and the most important thing maybe you can say today, apart that the teams are really happy to work together and they gain in confidence too, is that we gained in autonomy. Because on the one hand, we have the toolbox, we have the checklists that we use day to day that helps us objectivize. That was an important one. And it's really, we have a memo poster with keywords per subject for the iconography, tone of voice. And so if we're in doubt, we stand together in front of the poster and we see, okay, we have a decision to make, and to avoid arguments like, I like that, I don't like that, that's my preference. We really look to the words and we try to put them together to come to the best result. That's on the one hand, that's for the day-to-day work. And on the other hand, we also noticed that thanks to the transparency we had towards the general management, it's like now they know what we're doing, how we're doing, why we're doing it, and they let us do the job.
Takeaways of this.
So the first one we want to give is put the people together, include them. So include the team from the beginning, create an atmosphere of confidence, talk everything through, and keep talking everything through day to day. If they have questions, explain it 2 times, 3 times, as much as necessary. But create this atmosphere of confidence and transparency. The second one is use the external agency as a partner. Introduce them not as the ones who will come and tell us how to do it, because they are the experts and we are not. Everyone is on the same level, and it counts what you're saying, what they are saying. We just talk about it and come to the best solution for both.
The third one is really to invert the usual processes. Really start with, why are we doing this? Who is going to do that? How are we going to do that? And at the end, the outcome, the poster, the campaign, the social media campaign, whatever, will come out naturally. By inverting this process, it all makes sense internally. It will make sense externally, also for the audience, and I believe a much stronger communication. Takeaway 4 is really to put your strategy on one page. That's it. Don't make it more complicated. Everyone hates to read these strategies that are like 50-pager with a lot of layers and stuff. You put it on one page and use it as a memo for everyone, so everyone can use it. Mix it as a tool. It's really important. And finally, don't wait. Start tomorrow. You can correct along the way. Just start your process. The things that are working, you continue. The things that are not working, you stop. The things that can be improved, just improve. But don't wait to have the full big picture. The world is going too fast. You don't have time to wait. So just try it. Thank you.